We have seen an example of a text where using a passive structure helped put elements in a sentence in a helpful order. The passive was a way to get short, simple, old information first in the sentence. This is an example of the old-new contract, which means that we try to place old information before new information in a sentence. Keep in mind that old refers to something that has already been mentioned and we're mentioning it again. And new does not mean something you've never heard of. It means some thing or entity or idea that is just now being introduced into the current conversation or text. It's the first mention of something. So these are the things that we try to get in this order: old first, new later, within a sentence. It's not possible in every sentence, but this is the goal, and it helps the listener or reader. And what does this have to do with sentence structure? Well, we know that sentences in their basic form start with a subject and then go into a verb, and most likely some other elements after the verb. So if we can think of a way to get the old information into the subject, it would be at the beginning of the sentence, and get the new information into one of the elements after the verb. There are many ways you could get that to happen, and one of those ways is the passive. Imagine that I've said, look at this photo. Now, this photo is new, and then after, when I refer to the photo later, at that point it will be old information. So if I say then a ringtail lemur took it, that's a little bit unhelpful because it, which is old information, is at the end, and a ringtail lemur, which is new information, is at the beginning. We would like the reverse order. That would be easier for the listener. So we can take a ringtail lemur took it and turn it into the passive voice instead. It was taken by a ringtail lemur. Now this is easier to process because it, which is old information, is at the beginning, and a ringtail lemur, the new information, is at the end. Now, this is not the most convincing example because the whole thing is so short. So honestly, even that first one, a ringtail lemur took it, not too bad to process. So let's take a look at a real example where things get longer and more complex. From Nelson Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom. Look for passive structures and see if you can figure out why are these passives in this passage a good idea. I would invite you to pause the video here and think about that before you go in to listen to my thoughts on it. I'm identifying these three passives: had been besieged, was accompanied, and was sworn in. All three a good idea, I think. Had been besieged puts I earlier. I is short and simple. It's old information. We already know that Nelson Mandela is writing this book. If he hadn't used the passive, that initial sentence would be, for the past few days, dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration had pleasantly besieged me, which would be, wow, just hard to read. In the second one, I was accompanied by my daughter Zinani. It's the same thing again. I, short, simple, old information. In the third one, Thabo Mbeki was sworn in. Now here, it's not so much a matter of getting old before new information. It's more a matter of the passive is a way to not say who did it, and it's not relevant to specify who swore him in.